Hello, are we all back?
Yeah, we're
Yes,
back.
sir.
Okay, you're all welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. So the conclusion I was trying to make under the authoritarian leadership is that it's applicable in this situation. I'm talking about organization. In an organization, where do you think authoritarian leadership is best suited? And I say that it is best suited in an environment where you have many unskilled laborers who are uneducated and mostly illiterate. They earn wages. So this kind of people will not make meaningful input in your decision making, in your management practices, in strategy sessions. So they are the foot soldiers. You lead them by coercion. You lead them by prescribed um, work um, work schedules. So you have to do this. When you come to work in the morning, you do this, you do this, you do that. So these people are not involved in any form of decision making and the rest. Then a sharp contrast to it is the democratic leadership. This is very common. Every one of us knows something similar, can give some basic definition, explanations, applications of democratic leadership. Uh, there was a time, I can't remember if it was the last class or the class before the last, where there was a question asking students, asking people like you to contrast between leadership styles. And it was surprising that people will write 4 lines. You were asked to contrast between 2 leadership styles, and somebody will write just 4 lines. If you're asked this kind of thing, anyone you want to contrast, you have to define it first. You have to explain, you have to bring out the differences between 2 of them. You go further to show where they are applicable, they are most applicable. You give reasons. Because this is postgraduate, it's not undergraduate where they answer questions by giving you exactly what you have given to them. So I expected to see people writing like a page and a half, and so on. Well, I'm not saying that if you are going to attempt such a question, you should be writing 2 pages, because there's another thing, there's another experience we have had with postgraduate, because every postgraduate student can express himself using his pen. So somebody that had never attended the lectures, never had time to read the study material, will come to exam hall and write 3 pages, writing what he believes will be the answer. So those ones annoy us. So I won't lie to you. So back to what we're discussing. Democratic leadership is a sharp contrast to authoritarian leadership style, because it is based on the assumption that position and powers of a manager is granted by the team he or she leads. A typical example is what happens in academic environments. Every department is headed by a head of department. The head of department is rotational. So that you're a head of department today does not give you any special advantage or any special authority. No, you are just appointed to lead the rest of people that are your teammates. So if you become a HOD today, your authority, your powers, the position is coming from the people that you are leading, the rest of the staff in the department. And it is like this in some other organizations. It is like this in some other situations. Forget about the democratic governance, the constitutional democracy we have as a country, where once it is election time, they will come bootlicking the electorate. Once you vote them into power, they go buying bulletproof cars and start isolating themselves from the electorate. No, in an organization where democratic leadership uh, is being practiced, the leader, the manager drives his authority from the team he leads. So in this situation, leadership is not by seniority, is not by age, nothing. It's just rotational. So it is, I'm the one, I'm the leader today, tomorrow another person will be. So the effect of this is that democratic leadership is more participative and engaging, where policies, innovation, decisions evolve from the team. So because it's democratic, you don't take decisions on your own. You don't devise, you don't formulate policies on your own. The team come together to make decisions. Your own is to see the implementation. So by sharing decision making and work related issues, the team is more likely to make full use of all the potentials of the members. Everybody contributes, both in idea, suggestions, inputs of any type. So that is why it gives the team, the organization, the full potentials to make whatever, all the inputs coming from the members of the organization or members of the team. Democratic leaders are more likely to develop and maintain relationships between themselves and their team members because they adopt open communication and direct influence with them. Just imagine what I explained before. In a situation, in a work environment where leadership is rotational, so nobody, at the point of inheriting the position, you know that you are going to relinquish the position to somebody else who is a member of the people you are going to lead. So there is no basis for you to be autocratic. So instead, what happens is that people relate more openly, communicate more freely, and the rest. Democratic leadership styles tend to work best with well-educated and skilled teams, where leadership is rotational, and as such, every team member is eligible to lead the team, just the way I have explained it before now. The next is charismatic leadership. People that lead with definitions they have given to their personality. People that lead with what people believe that they are, that these people are superhumans. These people has answers to all their problems. So they lead by trading sentiments. They lead by people believing that this person has been destined to lead others. So according to Mekan 1989, charisma is the intense charm that reaches people on an emotional, non-rational level, inspiring effort undertakings beyond the norms of ordinary life. Therefore, charismatic leadership is the style of leadership where a manager encourages, influences a particular set of behaviors in others through emotional appeal, from eloquent communication, inspiration, and force of personality. So these kind of leaders, they lead with personal appeal, personal acceptance. People love them. So because people love them, whatever they say gets people influenced in doing what they want to do. People look up to them for direction. People look up to them for meaning of many things around them. They are well skilled in communication. So when they speak, they encourage, they inspire, they build interpersonal relationships, which they have gained over the years. So people trust them, people believe in them, and people regard themselves as followers. However, the danger in this kind of leadership is that it makes the followers believe that the leader has answers to all questions, which limits or destroys the ingenuity of subordinates. So when you relinquish your ability to contribute to solving problems, that means no matter how good you are, you have so accepted that the leader knows it best. You don't use your own, you don't contribute. The leader says, what do you feel about this? Your answer will be, sir, whatever you deem fit is the best because you know more than I do. Charismatic leadership is usually found in religious organizations where the leader is believed to exhibit virtuous personality. In a business organization with skilled and experienced workers, charismatic leadership cannot provide effective leadership when applied solely, but will when combined with other leadership styles. So if you are to be a religious leader, you need to improve your charismatic leadership styles. But in a typical organization, you cannot, because organizations are run with rationality. It's not only personality. There are some certain things you'll be saying as a leader, and you will see some dissenting voices saying that it's not going to be possible, that this will expose the organization and things like that. So these are variations. That's why you have this, the last point here, that in business organization with scaled and experienced workforce, charismatic leadership cannot provide effective leadership on its own. So it is better used in combination with other leadership styles. Then the third leadership style, the fourth one is the laissez-faire leadership. Other names for this type of leadership style are delegative leadership, servant leadership. The laissez-faire manager entrusts the task of decision-making in the hands of the subordinates. This is going further. If you're coming from the authoritarian leadership style, you are moving to democratic, this is far right. Why authoritarian is far left. The middle point is the democratic leadership. So why in authoritarian leadership style, decision-making resides with the leader. In the sphere leadership style, decision-making resides with the subordinates. The only thing the leader does is to compile the decisions and holding people accountable to what they have been assigned to do. But in leading, he doesn't lead. He leads from behind. He leads from the bottom. The rest of the team are ahead of him. So I don't think this kind of leadership style works in any situation, just like the charismatic leadership style. The philosophy behind this form of leadership is that managers focus on increasing responsibilities, relevance, and contributions of their subordinates rather than increasing their own powers. So the manager that uses this kind of leadership style will be on the background, projecting subordinates to bring out their best. In service-oriented organizations like consulting firms with cross-functional teams, the sphere leadership style will be an effective leadership style, especially when combined with other styles, such as the democratic leadership style. Imagine leading a team of engineers, architects, quantity surveyors, and you are a project manager. Your job, your experience, your expertise is managing projects. So you find out that these people you are working with in the same project, they are technical people. They are very sound people. So you see yourself, you are the project leader by the virtue of your own skills. Project manager is one that leads the project. but these people have the required skills that are needed for the success of the project. So this is an example. This is an institution where you can use this kind of leadership style, because when you go to a meeting, when you go to presentations, you will rely on their professional advice, professional inputs. So yours as a project manager will be how to harness their inputs, their contributions, their decisions, and whatever they do into the project timelines. Then the last one we'll be discussing is situational leadership. Situational leadership is simply leader of a situation, because there's assumption that situations don't repeat themselves. Even when they repeat themselves, they don't repeat themselves in all identical indices. So a situational leader is one that combines every other leadership style plus personal traits in managing human resources as situations warrant. So we have it said that the complexity of modern business environment with the influence they have on the business organization make it almost impossible to manage the affairs of an organization with a particular leadership style. It is not. The best leadership style is determined by leadership needs of every situation or circumstance. So as a situational leader, the first thing you do to a situation is assessment. Now, these kind of leaders are not the first line managers. No, it starts from the mid-level managers, because the first line managers manage routine activities. It is the mid-level management and top-level management that manage situations in the long run. So long run are periods enough for you to have changes, variations, and situations. So this kind of leadership, this leadership style is applicable from mid-management to top management, and not the first line who manages the routine activities of an organization. Managers are therefore trained and equipped with the skills of all the various styles of leadership and given the flexibility to adopt the best that suits a situation. Situational leadership style, or the pragmatic leadership style, is a style that adopts a leadership style or a combination of styles to deal with a leadership situation. It therefore means that the managers who adopt situational leadership styles are at all times mindful of all the personal goals of the task, assignments, and undertakings, pragmatically lead the team and resources to goals achievement. So this is the end of the leadership styles we'll be discussing under this study unit. But there's one more thing we need to see, which the determinants of leadership effectiveness. It is one thing to be a leader, and it's another thing to be an effective leader. So in this place, in this instance, we'll be looking at how can a leader make himself or herself a better leader, a more effective leader. So there are 4 categories of factors that make managers effective organizational leaders. These factors have both direct and indirect influence on the nature of the relationship between managers and their subordinates. So what are the factors? The first one is the manager's aptitude. The manager's aptitude. That's where you consider managers are born and managers are made. So you consider the personality of a manager. So personality affects the quality of the manager's leadership effectiveness. Some people have strong personality, while some people have very weak personalities. And in any leadership situation, we could see that someone saying that he doesn't have personality, he's nobody. So in this case, you will see that that statement alone affects the quality of leadership that comes from that person. So under manager's aptitude, you have personality of the manager, education of the manager, experience, and expectations. I hope you can make a decision between these four subcategories: personality, education, experience.
Sorry, sir, we can't hear again, please.
Okay, can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Is it okay now?
Yes,
yes,
I can hear.
Is it okay now?
Yes, it's fine.
Okay, I'm asking a question. I asked, I hope you can make clear distinctions between these items under manager's aptitude. You can say something about the personality, about education, how the education of a leader, of a manager can affect his leadership effectiveness. The more education you have, the more tendency that your leadership effectiveness will be high. The same thing with experience. Then expectations, we'll be looking at what the manager expects from the subordinates. Different individuals have a different expectations level. There are some people with high expectations from, there are some that don't have high expectations. So in all situations, the leadership effectiveness of a manager is affected by the expectations they have from their subordinates. The next one is employee characteristics. Remember that we said that leadership is like communication. You can only communicate when you have audience. You can only lead when you have the subordinates. You can only lead when you have the led. So the nature of people you are leading will affect your leadership effectiveness. So just the same way we have personality experience, the same is applicable for the employees, where you have their education. Your leadership effectiveness will not be the same if you are leading educated people against leading uneducated people. The same is applicable leading people that are leaving school, leading people that joined an organization from the university. So your effectiveness will not be the same against people that are experienced. The same is applicable for skills. The same is remunerations. What people go home with on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis, on a daily basis. If the employees feel that they are well remunerated, your leadership effectiveness will improve. It will be easy for you to lead. But when they feel that they are paid peanuts in relation to what they do in the organization, what they contribute in the organization, you will see some resistances. And in that situation, your effectiveness will not be the same against a situation where they feel that they are adequately remunerated. Then the next is conditions of work, where the people you lead work. So if the conditions of work is favorable according to their own definition, their own understanding, it will affect your leadership effectiveness. Then the next is the nature of the organization. The first is organizational structure, where there is well-defined flow of authority and accountability in an organization. Leading leadership in such organization becomes easier. But where things are muddled up, it becomes an issue. You are leading people that don't know what they expected from them. You are leading people that don't know where to start and where to end. So your effectiveness will be affected if the organizational structure is not well defined. The next is the nature of organization. Remember when we were discussing the charismatic leadership style, we pointed to a particular type of organization. So if you don't pay attention to the nature of organization where you are leading, it will affect your effectiveness. The next is the size of an organization. The size of an organization matters because it is an organization that is small. Things like the organizational culture, politics will not be pronounced. But the bigger the organization, the bigger the complexity of leadership in the organization. Then the last one, organizational culture and politics. These are some of the concepts that will affect leadership effectiveness. Then the last one is environmental factors. What happens beyond the leader, beyond the led, and beyond the organization? So the first one is the general business environment. You can imagine what is going on here now. The whole world is recovering from pandemic. So there is anxiety, there is fear. So all these things affect the employees. So it will affect the way leadership is being, how leaders lead their subordinates. The next one is trade unionism. It is difficult to lead in the university because there is ASU to contend with. So where there is strong trade unions for a firm, it affects the effectiveness of the leadership in the organization. Because what happens is that the employees know where to run to, know where to resort to in a situation where they feel that their rights had been infringed on. Then the next one is employment laws. Different countries have different levels of employment laws. So in situations where the employment laws are loose or they are not enforced, you will see that managers will tilt into using autocratic leadership because they know that they can get away with such. Then the last is labor mobility. If there is convenience for labor to move either occupationally or geographically, it will affect leadership effectiveness. And I think this is where we're going to stop it for the day. Then this is the unit summary for what we have done today. Leadership is influencing subordinates towards achieving a commonly known objective or objectives. Leading is one of the elements of the directing functions of management. Principles of effective leadership are traits and behavioral attributes that make effective leaders. The determinants of leadership effectiveness are grouped into 4 categories, namely manager's attitude, employee characteristics, nature of organization, and environmental factors. Okay, if you have any question, we can use the remaining 5 minutes to attend to them. I'm asking people anyone that wants to ask questions, make contributions, give some insights, the ability to unmute and make the contributions. Any questions, class? Any questions?
None, sir. It's well understood.
Okay. So thank you so much for being part of today's lectures, and I'll be looking forward to see every one of you next week. Do have
Thank you.
a wonderful day ahead. Enjoy your night.
Okay.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Good night, sir.
Bye.